Digital Soul.
Hey, it's your boy Big Rube, and we are the Purple Brothas.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in today on another episode of the Purple Brothers. Man, we have a special treat today. We have a special guest today, Mr. Tori Freak Juice Ruffin of Freak Juice, and also the infamous The Time. And then we got another gentleman right here on the bottom here, DJ Funk Clone. He just can't seem to stay away from us. So we're all picking each other bad habits up now. So we got him back again. And we're very happy to have both of these gentlemen back on so we can have a little purple talk and talk about Tori's upcoming projects, where he's been, what he's been up to, and have some purple funk fun, man. So let's come on board and let's do it.
All right.
So, Tori, man, I just want to know currently, man, since the pandemic has been happening, man, how have you been doing so far as the shows and things of that nature? So.
Oh yeah, we've been going through, some little rough times, withdrawals from the fans for sure.
Yeah.
And not touring, we've been out there for 25 years and just to have it come to a halt. So that's been a little bit of adjustment. So yeah, it's been adjustment, but it was a good break at first too, as well. On an unfortunate circumstance, you don't want to have to break like that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Pandemic, but kind of got a chance to reset the batteries on a lot of stuff, and I actually finished my record. So I've been trying to keep busy. A lot of you might not know I own a bar here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and so we've been trying. I got a chance to. That got shut down, but we've been getting back slowly and trying to do some live music. So yeah, man, just trying to stay busy and focused and positive, like everybody else, trying to hang in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if DJ Funk Clone and Big Rube, they don't mind, I just want to kind of go a little unorthodox really quickly here. I want to kind of start from now, just for a quick moment, because we're talking about the pandemic. You have a concert coming this Thursday. I really want to just show this right now. So our viewers, when they see this first 5 minutes of this video, let's just really quickly talk about this concert, man. What's the deal with this coming up Thursday? We got to know about that.
Man, we're on a new platform called Fleetly TV. It's a minority-owned business, and he's been in the record business on the marketing side, CBS Records and a few other record companies. But he's giving the artists a chance and a platform to be heard all over the world. There's been other platforms like Veeps and Twitch, but this is a brand new platform he's going to have, and it's basically with based for R&B and funk artists, funk rock artists, R&B, and he's got Bootsy Collins coming up. So it's this Thursday. We're launching it. We are the first band to this brand new platform, October 29th. It's only $10 to get in. $10 can help feed a band of 5 guys. So come on in. We'll do one of those commercials with sad faces. Come on in and support, the musicians, and he's great because he's giving the bands the lion's share, of the proceeds. So so this is, instead of the record company taking the lion's share, now he's giving it back to the artist, and he's got a multi-level marketing thing for all your friends, which if you share the video and get paid for it, he'll give you a percentage of the proceeds, $2 a share, I believe, and it doesn't come out the artist's pocket; it comes out of Fleetly's platform. So he's really artist friendly and artist driven, and everybody should support this. If you can't support it this time, support the upcoming artists, but hopefully you can support this time. But yeah, it's a great platform, y'all. Prince fans really need to jump on this, and he's got some upcoming killer shows as well, and Freak Juice is the first one, October 29th, 6 p.m.
Yeah. Shout out to
you heard that's $10, man. $10.
$9.99.
That's it, man. Most of y'all that take $10 just to get to the concert. And this way you're paying $10, you can sit at home and watch Freak Juice just juice it up that night.
Oh yeah, it'll be a great way to see Freak Juice. It's been my passion. So when I get off the road with Morris, so we usually do a lot of bars, but this is a shot in a killer 4K studio with killer sound, killer lights. It's like a full-blown audio visual, juice making extravaganza.
You're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, Tori, how would you describe Freak Juice's music? It's like a blend of different.
Yeah, well, juice, we like to call it the music juice. We're juice makers, we make juice, we make music. Freak is what we do to it now. Like everybody, when we were coming up, you guys seem like you're in my age group, back in the day, you heard a lot, we listened to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Funk may have been our favorite, but we were into this, we were into that. Coming up, I'm so old. I remember on the radio you could hear Stevie Wonder and Led Zeppelin on the same radio station. I remember that. I don't know if you guys do.
Yeah.
But that's what I came up, and that's what I was influenced with.
Yeah,
and as musicians, we played everything. We played Hendrix, we played Isley Brothers, we played the funk, we played, of course, later in the 80s, Prince, everybody played that, but we were listening to Rush and playing Rush. I mean, all these influences. And then later on, I got into jazz. I got educated with Miles Davis and hip to that. So that's what Freak Juice is, man. When I made my living, for the last 25, 30 years playing R&B and making a living at R&B. But when I got off the road, I wanted to, do other styles and explore other styles. And so putting out your own records, you don't have to be beholden to any one person. You can kind of do what you want, put it out there and find like-minded people that like more than one thing, and I think that's the majority of people. So it's heavy, it's funky. I got some jazz in there, I got some blues cats on there. But I try to keep it cohesive, if that makes any sense. It gets heavier, but the album has a flow. It's heavy, then it drifts off into a little, some grooves, and it gets heavy again, and then we go out with grooves. So I try to make it so it flows and it feels like one band. And I think that's
keeping the concept.
Keeping the concept, and just keeping it flowing. Keep the juice flowing, keep it the blender, activated. So that's what Freak Juice is, man. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so when is the album actually dropping? Is it dropping Thursday?
Now, the album will be on all platforms November 13th.
Gotcha.
And you can get it at freakjuice.bandcamp.com right now. You can get the hard copy. For those of you guys want to hold something in your hand and look at, so a few notes and thank yous. And just if you want to have something, we can get that out to you right away. freakjuice.bandcamp.com. HortonRecords.bandcamp.com. We're on Horton Records, so if you just Google Horton Records, you can get a hard copy right now. But November 13th, man, we're gonna release the record on all platforms, and then October 29th, we're gonna probably do some something special, some giveaways there too. So. Release a couple of songs that you can download for free if you get the ticket, and so you can go to Bandcamp and grab a couple of teasers, if you will, for checking out the concert.
No, absolutely, man. We're looking forward to that. So October 29th, that's just a couple of days away, you guys.
A couple of days, Thursday.
Tickets.
Yeah, get them tickets. Get them tickets.
$10.
$10. Yeah. The music, everybody's been affected by the pandemic, and but musicians have been hit pretty hard because they're in the bars and in the clubs. We depend on people coming and checking out and enjoying us. And man, you take things for granted. You don't ever foresee not being able to play in front of people and how much you enjoy that and how much a part of that is your soul. That's what you do. I mean. And that's what you live for. So, man, I won't take it for granted. So I want to just say thank you to all the fans. I'll never take it for granted again if I did. If I was short with you, I'll never be short with you again. I will take my time. But man,
there was that one time, Tori. I'm just kidding. There was that. No.
I've been killing myself a couple times.
So with the addition of Freak Juice, your band, you've also been affiliated with the Time, Morris Day.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
25 years.
Been
How
a
did
blessing.
you get connected with Morris Day?
Okay, well, you know, I'm from Los Angeles, and back in the day, we're all doing gigs. My friend Bruce, colleague of mine, we had a business putting together bands for Arsenio Hall and all the late night televisions. So when people came on there, we usually either put together the band or we played in the band. And so when Morris came through with his solo record, I was like, oh man, I gotta play with Morris. I'm playing on this gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did the Jay Leno show with him for this record called "Give Me What You Got." We played a couple times, and that was that. And then I think a year went past. I was driving up. I was driving up to California doing a Freak Juice. I mean San Francisco doing a Freak Juice gig, and my drummer, he was a lot younger, and bass player, they were younger, and they had never heard of The Time. I was like, what? Y'all ain't never heard of The Time? So I put the CD in. We drive up, and we're listening to it, and on the way back from the gig, we're listening to it, pandemonium, all the way up and all the way back. And I get home, I turn on the answer machine. This is a true story, and there was Morris Day. Hey brother, we putting together The Time. I want you to come down and play some guitar for me. Cool, you know. I was like, man, this is too weird, like, right? But coming up, man. But coming up, you know, if you're a black guitar player or a musician, you listen to the Prince records, you listen to Time, and you played it in clubs. I mean, that's just how you pattern everybody wanted to be The Time or Prince in the 80s if you were a black musician. You know, or a cameo, you know. And so but you really, you know, you knew all those records and you knew all the songs. So when he called me, I didn't even listen to anything. I thought, like, what we playing, dog? What you know, because I knew the stuff. I played it in cover bands. I had, you know, just lived it, you know. So yeah, I came and played, and it was only supposed to be a 2-week gig. We were supposed to do the Strand, and here I am 25 years later, man.
And I saw you back then, Tori. I saw you at one of your first shows at the Hop in Point Hills.
At the Hop.
Yeah. I was there at that show, man. I was like, yeah, at more shows, but that was the first one I saw with you involved at the time. So yeah, I remember that way back 25 years ago.
I met someone at that show that I hung out with for 13 years. Sure did.
Wow.
It was a great show. Wasn't Charlie there? Wasn't Charlie, you know, Charlie Wilson there? He was, when he was in the front row, he was in the front row clapping his hands. I'm like, man, it's cool.
It was Morris's birthday, I think, that night.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And Charlie Wilson came up and sang Happy Birthday, went up on stage and sang Happy Birthday. I remember that.
Yeah, sure did. That was like one of the very first gigs. That might have been the second gig we ever did.
Yeah.
I think the first gig was at the Strand.
Yeah. That was one of the first shows you did.
Yeah, Dr. Dre was at that gig, and Sheila E. That was cool. Yeah, when we first started rolling, man, it was amazing. It was a lot of fanfare and it was just a lot of excitement. I mean, those are, you know, like I said, those were my childhood heroes, not childhood heroes, because I'm obviously not that younger than they are, but you know, we're in high school listening and all that stuff, man. So I was like, oh yeah, this is great. I was a big fan, you know, big fan of Morris and Jesse and all the guys, you know. If you listen to funk back then, that was the band, right?
Oh yeah.
If you listen to funk,
please believe
it. Feeling some time, man.
Time.
Without a doubt.
That first album was just so crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
With the stick, you know, I like bass lines, man, and the stick, and woo.
Yeah. You didn't get too many groups that had every album was a smash all the way through, man.
Oh yeah. And they only had 6 songs.
6 songs.
That's the thing, yeah. 6 songs and all of them kill it.
Yeah, you know, it was Prince and Morris on those early records. That was all Prince and Morris. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. I mean, I used to just listen to The Walk over and over again, man. I used to love that song. Just like you say, the bass line on that, and just the groove of it. The chords, I used to love the piano chords.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people don't know that Morris Day plays the drums. You know, they
Yeah,
don't know he's a drummer.
a lot of people don't know, but that was him and Prince on those records, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Morris on the walk.
That infamous drum roll.
That's
Oh,
Morris. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember what that very first concert that you did, that very first night? Do you remember how you felt? What was that like being on the stage that very first night?
Well, you know, we only had, I think, 3 rehearsals, man. So I was doing my rock band at the time, and so I was real nervous about the dance steps, because I remember, like, man, you know, because you got to be funky, you got to be in parts, you know, and then you got to be stepping.
You got to step.
You know, so that's a step that's a lost art in itself. You don't see bands playing and stepping, like, man, you know, that's an art. That's a whole nother thing, you know.
Yeah.
Dancing and playing and time and pocket and singing, you know, all 3 independent things going on, you know. So that was the challenge for me. I was like, man, okay, what, you know, I was thinking a lot that night. I was nervous, but I was thinking, like, you know, like, what's the next dance move, or what's the next is a slide, you know, here's this break, here's that back. But it was fun, man. It was good times. We were on the bus for the first couple years too. When we first came out, we were on a tour bus, and man, we was hitting all those clubs, and it was great, man. It was a lot of hype back then on that.
I think
I
that's
saw
what
you
makes
many
the
times
guys.
at the House of Blues. A lot of times at the House of Blues, like 97, 98. I was 99. I saw you at all those
awesome
days, man.
shows. Yeah, those were awesome shows, man. Those shows used to go off, you know.
Yeah.
And
I met you briefly.
That was cool.
I met you briefly, Tori, in '98 at remember 3 Palms in Pasadena?
3 Palms in Pasadena, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was at that show. I remember it was like Halloween night, I think, like 22 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, I briefly met you that night. I don't think you remember that. That was, 22 years ago, 98. But yeah, I was there at that. Yeah, I remember all those shows, man. Good stuff.
At the House of Blues show, there was this girl in a see-through, I mean, she had nothing on, but it was like a gold dress right in front of the stage. The band was just, you know, couldn't take her eyes off.
I love this brother because he remembers specifics from 20-something years ago. I love this brother right here.
There's certain things that do stick with me. Naked women are probably one of them.
I'm mad at you.
Oh man, that's great.
As far as your guitar playing styles, bro, what is your influences?
Right, like early on, I would have to say, I'm from Detroit originally, you know, and I got to California about 75, 76, but my sister had a boyfriend that introduced me to Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix. So when I first started playing the guitar, I was listening to those a lot of Led Zeppelin, a lot of Jimi Hendrix, and then a lot of Isley Brothers, Ernie.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the 80s came around, hands down, it would have to be Prince's rhythm style. I would have to say his rhythm style, because he was on all the records, and you know, the Minneapolis sound is really my rhythm. If you listen to, I have a record out called Corporate Dick. Even though I was playing rock, on the funkier stuff, it sounds like Prince playing, you know, just that tight, funky rhythm. And then later on, man, when I, you know, just really decided, hey, I want to do this for a living. And, you know, I was like 16 in high school, and 17. The original Sexual Chocolate. We used to have a fusion band called Kush. Is the original Sexual Chocolate.
The original.
We used to have a fusion band called Kush. Yeah, we had, and I was just a rock, funk, R&B player, you know, trying to play. And then the sax player said, "Man, Tori, man, if you really want to set yourself apart, and you really want to, you know, take your playing, you need to learn some bebop." Like, bebop, what's that? He said, "Man, go to Hollywood Bowl and check out Miles Davis. He's gonna have some cool guitar players with him at the Hollywood Bowl." So me and my buddy went down there, and we had picked up some records, and we're like, "Oh, this is cool." And we went down there, man, and we saw Mike Stern and John Schofield with Miles, and they were launching into these solos, and it was rocking. It was rocking hard, and then they were launching to this other melodic, chromatic, Charlie Parker bebop lines, man, and that just touched me so much. The tension and release of soloing like that, and I thought, man, they're playing it over pretty much some static chords. I was like, man, I wonder if I could do that in a rock setting, in a pop, more of a convention. And so Civil Right was born, and so those two influences, like for rhythm, it's definitely Prince, and rock is definitely the two Jimmys, Hendrix and Jimmy Page. And then for my harmonic, for the linear, the soloing is definitely like, I'm a big jazz, Charlie Parker, Miles, Coltrane. I love the tension and release of bebop. So if you listen to some of the stuff on Freak Juice, it's I'm playing heavy rock, but when I take a solo, there's some passing tones and there's some tension and release in pretty much all my solos. I just feel that, feel that way. So yeah, those are I know it's a long-winded explanation, but that's it.
All good.
Oh, yeah. And what age did you actually pick up guitar, and why guitar? Why that instrument?
Well, man, I would tell the story, and it sounds unbelievable, but I know, have you guys seen that movie Gangster, Denzel Washington?
Oh, American Gangster?
Yeah, American Gangster. Gangster, yeah. Well, there was a Detroit connection. That was my grandfather, and so he brought over, and he wasn't depicted like, he was depicted wrongly. But anyway, my grandfather ran the cocaine business in Detroit, man, and he brought me over this Gibson it was beautiful, 355. Some musician had owed him a bunch of money. And so he just came over and brought me the guitar, man. That was my first guitar, and I had to be about 10, 11. So like I said, I picked it up, learned a few chords, which was, and started playing Isley Brothers, Hendrix, Rush. Rush was right across the border, so we were black musicians too. It felt surreal because it's like when I ran into some buddies in Detroit, I said, man, weren't we playing Led Zeppelin and Rush in our basement? And I didn't dream that. I didn't make that up, right? He was like, hell yeah, y'all was in there rocking Isley Brothers and, of course, Funkadelic and all that stuff. We were learning everything. So, yeah. So I started early. Yeah, Michael Hampton. I love that Knee Deep solo. That's one of my favorite all-time solos on a funk record, period. I love that Knee Deep solo. That's one of the most melodic solos, and he has some tension release in there too, so it's cool. But yeah, so I put it down, and then we went to California, and I was kind of balling, trying to play ball, and then about 15 or 16 in high school, I rediscovered the guitar again, and got serious about it with Kush, with Sexual Chocolate.
What was that like? What was that experience like,
man? The drummer was just driving for John Landis, and John goes, man, you got a band? I need a band for the scene in the movie. And he's like, yeah, band. And he called us up, man, and we went down there. It was a 2-day shoot, and we didn't know what we were doing. And we got on stage. We were all excited to see Eddie Murphy, man, and he was calling us Clark Barr. He introduced, this is Clark Barr, and this is, he was just funny as heck, man. And then we started playing the song, before then we had to go and record the song because we were actually playing it. And we were we were in the studio, and we started playing. The guy goes, cut. You guys gotta give me some wrong notes. Sax player, you need to sound like the worst sax player you can find. Okay, fine. We can do that. We were kids, man. So yeah, so that's how that came. And Eddie was just great, man. He was just funny, full of energy. It took us 2 days to film that one little scene. 2 days. Yeah, it was crazy. It was fun, man. And then, the movie came out. I don't know if you remember, it came out, it was cool. But I think over the years it turned into a big favorite, like, because it kind of came to win at first, right?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, you know, everybody would, nah, I think when it hit television and started hitting reruns, people really got into it, man. Because I can remember like 5 years, maybe 5 years after it came out or something, somebody looked at me and go, "Sex with chocolate." You know, like, you know, usually somebody would say, "Hey, it's Morris," you know, "Hey, play with time," or, you know, somebody actually screamed "Sex with chocolate." I was like, "Oh, something's happening here."
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic.
Yeah, but now since with the reemergence, since the second one is coming out in December, you know, you're gonna have people just going back and you know watching the first one.
Yeah, we got a chance to do the second one too, man. So I'm in that. You know, I haven't seen it, so you know, good if you blink, you know, who knows what the cutting floor. But yeah, we got a chance to do the second one, man. So he was doing some funny.
Did I give you more screen time on the second one? Did I give you more screen time like in the first than the first one? Or what?
You know, with movies, you never know what's going to be on the cutting floor. Like, because like I said, the first one, you know, it was 2 days of filming. And there was a lot, you know, there's a lot of shots that didn't make it. So, you know, you just gotta wait and see what the director does, you know. So, you know, hopefully get some more screen time, you know, so I can reprise my role, my acting role.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And you had another one of my guilty pleasures, man. I'm gonna say this on screen. Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, yeah.
That was another one too. What was that like, man?
They were real cool. They, you know, real approachable guys. Kevin was real, you know, just down to earth, man. Just, you know, cracking jokes, hanging out, kind of like the movie a little bit, you know. He doesn't say anything in the movie, but he's like the stoner guy or the cat. He is, you know.
Yeah.
He was cool. Yeah. Yeah. That was good times, man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So in the midst of that, playing with the time, you ever get a chance to play with Prince himself?
Well, yeah, we did the 18, 19 shows of musicology. I think we got some video around here somewhere. But yeah, and then we did Rave to the Year in 2000. And then when we first started, man, when we first got back on the road, he used to he would just pop up at gigs. I can remember it was the dead of winter in Chicago, man. And this guy comes out. I mean, it was freezing outside. He shows up backstage with a halter top on and a sleeveless shirt, man. And I was like, wow. And that was the first time I think I was like the first month we were out on the road. And so he would come to these shows and pop up and hang out and talk. And then he showed up in Vegas, got us to play in Vegas for the 1999 gig. So he got on stage, you know, I was playing guitar. He was on one side. He was just kind of near me walking around. You know, I was real tall, so he never really wanted to come hang out by me, you know, if you look at it, because he's real conscious about that kind of stuff, you know. But so he, you know, yeah, so that was a real crazy experience. That was my first time actually. I'm like, wow, I'm playing with Prince. This is the stuff I grew up on, and there he is. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I know. So that was fun. And then what else? Then we did Raven to the Year 2000, and we were in the studio, and we were cutting stuff in the studio. We were doing stuff, and then we did a jam session on stage that day with Lenny Kravitz, George Clinton, Prince, and so that was cool. And then, you know, those 18, 19 shows, we would do jam sessions afterwards, after the gigs. And, you know, obviously he'd come up on sound check and make sure that we were playing our parts right. And, you know, so that whole experience was just surreal, you know, it was amazing, you know, hanging out. And I can remember one I was hanging out backstage, waiting. I think it might have been at a jam session, or I can't remember. He was in the arena. We were somewhere, and he just came back and just started talking to me about my guitars. Like, So what year is that shit? You know, and I was like, oh shit. In my mind, you know, I started talking about it. I'm like, God dang, I'm having a conversation with a man. You know, like, because he just appeared out of nowhere, you know. Up until then, it was just like, what's up, fellas? And, you know, so that was cool, you know. But the studio experience, Morris put it in his book, man. We were cutting some vocals, you know. He had this track he wanted us to do, and so he said, yeah, we got a bunch of girls back there and to sing, you know, they were all hanging, getting kind of party, and he shut everybody down. Morris put this in his book. He goes, you know, this is when he was kind of getting into Jehovah, so he sat everybody down in a circle. And the band too, and me and Morris, we were looking like, oh, what's going on, you know, you know, and Morris was like, he was getting real like perturbed. He's like, hand me that bottle. You know, I had a bottle of Jack Daniels. Hand me that bottle, Tori. I took out the bottle, and he's trying to preach. I took the bottle, and it slipped out of my hand and went.
Oh no!
And we Morris looked at each other.
Oh.
And Prince ignored it and just kept talking. And Ronnie Baker Brooks was there too. We crack up about that all the time, man. It was like funny as hell, like because Prince, you know, he's about to get. I was like, oh shit! I was thinking, oh, I'm so fired. Oh, I'm so fired right now. But yeah, man. So there's a lot of cool memories.
Prince never said anything about it, huh?
Huh?
He didn't say anything about it. Prince never said one thing about it.
He just ignored it because I was probably next to Morris, you know, sitting next to Morris. So I think that was my safety net right there.
That's funny, man.
That's some funny stuff, yeah.
So
how'd you feel when he passed, man?
Yeah, man. Man, I couldn't believe it at first, but then I heard that when the news first came out, it was like somebody else died in his house. I was like, no, ain't nobody. He would never let anybody die in Paisley. I was like, that's him. He's gone, you know. Because you know, he had that flight deal, and
right.
just in my spirit, it said, and then so when the person's alive, man, like you know, sometimes you focus, you don't realize how much they affect you and how much they were a part of you. You know, when a person's alive, and you almost take you. I always thought Prince would be an old man, you know, because he was so healthy. I thought, and you know, you don't realize how important, how much they affect you until they're gone, unfortunately. So and when he passed, I just got to thinking like, man, you know, he's a big part of my musical DNA, you know, and it was sad, man. You know, you know, whereas really, you know, I just can't, like, even today, I can't even put into words, you know, how much that affected me in terms of, you know, you start wishing like, man, I never trip on the petty stuff. Like, I think there was a time when the band was flown out to one of the shows, and Prince last minute decided we weren't going to be on the show, and Morris was cussing and mad, and everybody was mad. Everybody's mad at Prince. I was like, and so, you know, after that, before he passed, he flew us back out, and Morris and those guys, you know, they hugged it out. But even during that time, you know, you trip on little stuff like that, but you know, it's important to focus on the positive things of people that you really admire, and know that you really admire them, and, you know, and not focus on the things that you think you could do better, or that you don't really like about it, or not that there's anything you could think you could do better than Prince, but you know, I'm just using that as an example. Like, right. Don't focus on any of the negative of your the people that you admire, and appreciate that when they're here. Really appreciate them, you know. So that's the lesson I try to look at. Like, you know, how fortunate I am to just be playing with Jelly Bean, Monty, and Morris, and you know, and so I try to let everybody know, you know, while they're here, while people are here, you know what I mean? That's the lesson I took. And like I said, I didn't realize how, you know, I started to ponder how big of influence he was on my DNA. You know, like I said, rhythm guitar, it's all Morris, you know, I mean, Prince, yeah.
Well, Tori, I know I speak for the two brothers that are on screen with me, man. And I'm telling our age, man. We honestly can say that we were buying Prince albums from the time he came out. B-sides, offshoots, The Time, The Family, Tamara and the Scene, Jesse Johnson's Review, so forth. We followed all of you guys, Family Tree, no matter what it was. So
oh, nice.
He was a huge impact on the three of us. And I want to say, because of that, Prince brought the four of us here together today.
I believe that, man. Yeah.
So it definitely was a definite loss, and he was a huge impact on a large amount of people. It's still unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, that hit me hard. I mean, yeah. But you know, we have to carry on his legacy, do what we do, right? Keep making music, keep doing shows like this, carry on his legacy, and
absolutely.
And you know, because that's what he would want, I believe. You know, positive. Yeah. He was real positive, you know. And a lot of people don't know, you know, how much activism he was doing too, and which is, you know, I learned a lot about that later, man. I was blown away. You know, he didn't talk about it. So yeah. You know.
So personal question: did you pick up any did you sneak any guitar tricks from Prince?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know, just his thing. I love the way he performed, you know. So just, you know, I looked at the way he performed, and then you know, his style, you know, I've loved that. As far as tricks, you know, I wouldn't say tricks. You know, I mean, I played the Purple Rain solo and a lot of solos, Earn Bambi solos, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, big influence. Like I love Bambi, man. I know you know that record.
Yeah, man.
That's one of those. Oh, that gets you right there. You know, like man, this is fire.
Yeah, from the moment it starts.
Yeah. Because you know, you only had Jimi Hendrix up until then, and then who else were you gonna look up to? It was Prince, President Jesse Johnson. You know, you're like, man, they were the black guitar players, rock, funk guitar players. Michael Hampton, of course, the P-Funk guys. You know, Charlie Singleton. There's a few of them, and it's cool because I get to see all these guys on the road, and I tell them, you know, man, you know, I listen to you, man. You Road Dog, you know, tell them Marlon McLean and all those guys, you know, from Pleasure. Remember that band? I get to see all those guys, Stephen Shockley. Man, I grew up listening to that stuff because, like I said, I was a late bloomer. I didn't really start playing seriously to 16 or 17, really getting serious about it. And, you know, I think my first record deal was 20, you know, so I was in my late 20s, 28, before I started doing really serious gigs, you know. So, you know, these guys were on the radio with huge hits, you know, and see them out there on the road is just a treat for me. Charlie Singleton played on the record, you know, on Freak Juice and Friends. I got Charlie Singleton doing the song.
Oh, man.
Hey, Tori, I've been wanting to ask you, what songs does he play on this new album?
Well, Charlie plays on Cookies and Cream, you know.
He's on Cookies and Cream. Okay.
Yeah, he's playing a solo. You can hear him. He's second solo, yeah. And playing on there, and
yeah. I featured Cookies and Cream on Funk Clone Radio a couple months ago. That one and Pimp Us 2020. Those are both up on Funk Clone Radio. I didn't know that they were playing the guitar though on Cookies and Cream. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, Jelly Bean takes the first solo. Charlie's the second solo. I think there's a rap. And I got some country guys from Tulsa, Oklahoma that are just killer players. You can hear their solos, they're great. And then I take the last one. Yeah, so it's one of those it was, you know, homage to Prince and the time, you know, Cookies and Cream, Prince, and then it's kind of got that little delirious thing going on. keyboard line, and so it's just it's a tribute. I learned it from you is another tribute that I did for Prince. You can hear the lyrics. It talks about all of us being influenced, and then it talks about that time we were sitting in a circle. He goes, yeah, and Tori had the guitar between the girl's leg, and he was doing it. He was kind of like, I was like, yeah, but I was like, excuse me, hello, I learned that from you, dog.
Right.
I'm like, hello, I'm just doing something you would do. You were the one that set the stage with the draws and the run around stage and I just trying to do you, man. Hey, everybody started cracking up, man. So so when I thought about the song, I said, oh man, I'm gonna call it "Learned It From You." Yeah. So that song is definitely a Prince tribute. Yeah. So yeah, man, I got some good guests. Satnam Rangatra is on there playing drums. Monty's playing keys. Satnam does all the movies for Hans Zimmerman, Game of Thrones, Dunkirk. He does all the drum stuff, and he's the original drummer of Freak Juice. So he blessed me with a track. Andre Berry, David Sanborn, Alex Al, Michael Jackson is on Cookies and Cream. He played with Michael Jackson, Herbie Hancock, Stevie Wonder. Alex is a beast on bass, man, and he's doing that. And well, it was funny because I was teaching up at MI, and he was a young kid, and we were playing some Minneapolis stuff, and he was just killing it. I was like, and this is when we were doing all the Arkansas shows. I said, "You're coming with me, young man." That's like, we got him gigs, man, and he just took off, man. So yeah, Alex Al's on there. Who else? Andre Berry, man. Yeah, I got some killer musicians on there on this one. I just wanted to ask for favors, and they were happy to play. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
November 13th.
Yeah.
Freak Juice and Friends on all platforms.
Yes, we want to give a shout out to all the members of Freak Juice too, man, for playing their asses off and continuing to bring good music to everyone, man. I love the balance of reggae, ska, hip hop, rock fusion, and the latest single, Hypocrite is slamming, man. So I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, man. Yeah. That's self-explanatory,
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So
yes, definitely. So we want to thank you for being on with this Tori, man, and just let everybody know where they can find you. They can follow you on social media, what have you.
Yeah, Facebook, Tori Ruffin, TORIRUFFIN, freakjuice.bandcamp.com. We got a live stream on Fleely TV. Get your tickets at tixar.com. There will be links on my freakjuice.com Facebook, Freak Juice. There are links all over there. So just come see me, holler at me, hit me up with a friend request. Support, man. Support. Your musicians need it.
Absolutely. The Purple, man, we follow you, man. We follow you on all the platforms. So, for everybody, hey, get your tickets. It's Thursday.
This Thursday, October 29th. I'll send you guys some links so you can share to your people. You already have those? I know you have one, Paul.
Yeah. I'll get them out there today. I'll get them out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right on, guys.
Okay.
All brothers, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. And like say, platforms like this are important and vital, keeping this funk alive, keeping musicians working, man. So I appreciate y'all.
No doubt, man. Thank you, man. We really appreciate you taking time out.
Yes, bro.
We appreciate you too, man.
All right, brothers. Cool, man.
Shoot a holler over to the fellas, man. Tell them to holler at us, man. We won't bite. We want to hang out.
Delphine has a record coming out, so I'll let him know. His contact is Jeff Luna, but I'll let him know.
We would love to have him, man.
And, he would love to do it. He has an independent CD coming out, so you guys got to check that out. But I'll give him your information. And
sounds like a plan, man. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Y'all get that new album coming out, man. It's gonna be slamming, man. Looking forward to the concert too in a day.
All right, fellas. All right. Y'all keep funky. That's what time it is. Keep funk alive.
Absolutely. Keep the funk alive, baby.
A fishbone, brother.
Fishbone.
I had time for them too. So, but yeah, we'll get into that another time. All right.
Absolutely, man. All right, brother. Take it easy.
All right.